to help them get the recognition that they deserve in their careers and in their life, and to do that without frazzling themselves or burning themselves out. Because 10 years ago, I well and truly burnt myself out to the point of being bedbound. Now, I did return to a successful career. I built my career back up. And one of the things that I learned that led me to where I was that I should have been more assertive. I could have been more assertive. I could have pushed back more and I wouldn't have got so burnt out. But I held myself back from doing that because I thought assertiveness was like aggressive and it made you a bit of a dick. So today I'm going to share with you 5 ways you can be more assertive without being a bit of a dick. Because I just want to start by saying, and I should have said, say hi if you're here, or give me a hashtag replay if you're watching this on replay, because it's always good to know people are listening. I'm going to talk to you about those 5 things, but I'm going to talk to you about why it's important and why being assertive is not the same as being aggressive. At the end of the video, I'm going to talk to you about Invisible to Valued, which is the course that I am launching next week. But I just want you to know that this is not one whole big sales pitch. Like, I am so passionate about helping women get the recognition they deserve in food that I give loads of value away for free. So don't think you're just going to sit here and listen to me selling you something, because I'm not, but I will mention it at the end. So let's talk about assertiveness. So I know you're probably sitting there thinking, I don't really want to be more assertive. And I think that's because we have this negative association with the word. We think that it's somebody, that dick that you have to deal with that's really aggressive, awkward, unhelpful in meetings. So it probably goes against every fibre of your being, because you were brought up to be polite and well-mannered and really helpful. But I think assertiveness and aggression gets confused because we've been brought up in a society where we are, as women, are actively encouraged to be more passive, and that shows up at work as well as outside of work. And women that are more assertive can often be branded, not just by men, but by other women, as difficult or opinionated in a way that I don't think men would be. But I just want to say, you're never going to turn into that dick in ops, or other departments are available. I always seem to pick on ops and technical. I don't know why. Please don't be offended. It's just, my lived experience in the past. Because I should have mentioned, I haven't mentioned, I worked in the food industry for a flipping long time. I've worked in lots and lots of different functions. So I've seen a lot of this. But right, let's talk about assertiveness before I start rambling. Not being very assertive. But do come and say hello if you're watching live. I think I can see the comments. If I can't, I will pop on afterwards and message you. But also hashtag replay me if you're watching this on replay, because it's good to know if you've watched it. So assertiveness is about being able to express yourself with confidence and get a point across in the way that you want to. And it's not the same as manipulating someone, and it's not the same as using passive aggressive things, terms like, when you get so sick of, everybody else walks past the stuff on the stairs at home and you're like, you pick it up and you're like, it's fine, I'm everyone's slave around here, and you're not actually saying what you need and what's annoyed you. You're kind of doing it in a passive aggressive way. So it's not about that. And how we communicate can affect our relationships at work, but it's also our relationships outside of work. And we tend to act how we've seen others act as we were growing up, how our parents and caregivers did, or how they responded to us. So we might have a natural tendency to be either passive, kind of going, yeah, that's okay, and being friendly with everybody, or you may be more aggressive, you might lose your shit and you might, be, just basically crying, kicking, screaming, that sort of thing, but not generally at work. But assertiveness is the style that you can use, and you can learn this. Again, I talk about the fact that I was not all of these things, I've learned these things. And it can help you to form strong relationships and basically get shit done at work. But it isn't all about what you say. And language is a big part of the assertiveness thing. And in the Invisible to Valued course, we are going to talk about language and the sorts of words that you use. But I want to get the point across that it's not all about that. It is about lots of other factors that come into play. So I'm going to share those 5 things. The first one is dealing with that voice in your head. So when you're going into a situation where you need to be more assertive than you usually are, the classic one is that I hear is going into like a steering meeting or a feasibility meeting, and you know there's going to be somebody difficult in that room. You can often get yourself in a spiral of thinking the worst case scenario before you get in the room. So you start to feel like that fight, flight, or freeze feeling. So if you are a fighter, you might be starting to feel like, right, I'm ready for a fight, I'm going into battle. You might, if you're a flight or freeze person, more likely to be have a passive response. You might be just like, you know, when your mind goes blank, that sort of thing. So anything you can do to calm that chatter before you go into those situations is going to help you to be more assertive. So for me, sometimes it's deep breathing. Sometimes if I'm going on a Teams call and I need to get my energy up, I'll dance around to some music, that sort of thing. But getting yourself into what coaches call the right state before you go into a situation where you need to be assertive is the first thing that you can do. The next one is get better at listening. So we all think like, I've got to say what I've got to say and I've got to get my point across. That's what being assertive is. But actually, think about your audience. Everybody wants to feel heard, including you. So when you're in a situation where you need to be assertive and get a point across, don't be constantly in your own head thinking about, you know, what you're going to say next. Really listen, actively listen to what the other person's saying, what their concerns are, and take care not to interrupt them, and actually maybe paraphrase back to them what they've said so that they feel like you're not just bombarding them, that you are listening to what they've got to say. Think about your body language. So whether that is in person or on Teams, you know, on Teams, looking into the camera, in person, making sure that you have the right stance. Like a more assertive person is not going to be sat hunched going, is that okay if I possibly maybe? They're going to be saying, you know, I've got something important to say. So shoulders back, head up, and really think about that overall stance, and is it exuding the confidence that you want it to be exuding? The next one is stop apologising. And I find that I really have to say this to a lot of women. I think we've just been conditioned in a way to just apologise for existing. And I think it is a little bit of a cultural thing as well. Assertive people, yeah, they do apologise if they've done something wrong, but they do it once and they only do when it's appropriate. They're not like, oh, sorry, sorry, I can't make that meeting. Sorry, I can't do this. Sorry, could I just say something? Sorry, could I, would it be okay if I interject there? They don't ask for permission. So think about getting rid of that language. So stop saying sorry, stop using filler things, stop minimising what it is that you've got to say. And just start to notice when you're doing that. Like, don't beat yourself up if you do it, but just start to do less of that. And then the last one is, so number 5 is about language. So use the word I. Don't use the royal we. We need to hit this deadline. No, I need you to hit this deadline for me. People that have confidence use words like, I think we need to do this. I need you to do this. Because if you phrase things as a question, like, so my example being, do you think we can do it like this? Or do you think it would be okay if you could do this? You're much more likely to get a no from people. And it just doesn't instill that feeling of confidence in terms of what you're asking for. So using I statements, when I run workshops with teams, that tends to be the big thing. They're like, oh my God, I didn't even realise I do that. But use I statements. I think we need to do X. And the thing I want to say as well is practice makes perfect. Well, actually, I'm a recovering perfectionist. We're never going to get to perfection, but you will always progress. So don't beat yourself up if you're sat here thinking, God, I don't do those things, and therefore I am never going to be an assertive person. Just start doing one or two little things that are going to help you, because it is really, really important. And the reasons that it's important that I learned the hard way were, if I had been more assertive and I had been able to push back, I'd been able to get shit done quicker, I wouldn't have ended up working longer and longer hours and basically frazzling myself to death, to the point where I burnt out. My whole life felt like it was falling apart. I had to go off sick from work. My marriage broke down, all of that stuff. I'm not saying that bit wouldn't have happened, it probably would still have happened, but if I had been more assertive, I wouldn't have got to where I got to. So that is why I want to share this stuff with you. So quick recap: deal with your inner chatter, stop that voice in your head and do what you can when you're going into a situation where you need to be assertive, to think about how you calm yourself down. Number 2 is actively listen to other people. Number 3 is think about your body language. Are you coming across as confident and assertive? Number 4 is to stop apologising for your existence or for speaking. And number 5 is to use I statements. So I hope you have found that useful. Now I am going to talk to you now quickly about Invisible to Valued. This is a course that I am running over the next 5 weeks. It is a group course, so we're going to have a group of women that are all working towards this same goal of feeling more valued at work. And why I think a group program really helps is, just when you've been listening to me now and you've heard me say, I used to feel this, I used to do this, you're like, oh God, it's not just me. And that's what's really good about a group program, because other people will share their experiences and you will not feel alone. The idea of Invisible to Valued is to help you get your spark back, help you to feel more valued at work and feel like you are making an impact and have an influence at work, because it is so important that we take you from feeling like you are invisible, like you're frustrated, like you're not getting shit done, to this place of feeling confident, feeling like you can speak up, you can go into meetings and you don't need to over prepare, because you know whatever's going to be thrown at you, you can handle. And that is going to help you, because it is going to help you feel more assertive in yourself, feel better about yourself. And that in turn will start to give you more opportunities at work. It will have other people see that they need to value you, and you will value yourself. The course runs for 5 weeks. I have got other videos. There's a page that will tell you all about what it involves, how it all works. But if you've got questions, please message me, because it is my mission to help as many women as possible to go from this invisible to valued in the food industry, so that together we can be the change that we want to see. At the moment, only 22% of people on exec teams in the food industry are women, and I want to change that with your help. And I'd love it if you could become one of those women, or if you already are, if you can get your voice heard more. So come and join me. I would love to have you there.